Hi Stampers, Nancy Novak here from StampInShout.com. Today I'm doing a couple of cards with the Tasteful Touches stamps and dies, and I have a couple of new techniques, not new techniques, but a couple of different techniques that we don't use very often to share with you. If you're looking for more inspiration, like I said, I'm here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. YouTube. I have YouTube videos out there, Pinterest, and of course my blog, www.stampinshout.com. So check it out, and if you have any comments or questions, be sure to let me know. You can also email me with any questions. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you what we're going to work on today. So this is a window card, and I don't know if you can see, but the window is textured with an embossing folder, and that is the Dainty Diamond embossing folder. So that's a window sheet in there, and we'll talk about that as we get into it. That's the Magenta Madness new in color. Just love it, love it, love it. And then this was just a guide card. I was trying to figure out something to do that was kind of a masculine card. I am going to change this up a little bit because after I made it I thought a little bit more and I came up with a little bit of a different idea to do with this. I like it much better. So let's do this one first, and let me bring in the supplies. So I did a little bit of pre-camera work, so let me tell you what that is. Let me get everything out here. So let me start with the base. The base is 11 by 5.5, and I scored it, no, it's 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5.5. So it's going to be this type of a fold. And then on the inside, I have a matte piece that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches in the Magenta Madness. And I have an inside stamping piece in Whisper White that's 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then on the front, I have a piece of the Magenta Madness that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I also have a piece of Whisper White that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I have a window sheet that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I already ran the window sheet through that embossing folder. So I thought that was kind of a fun thing to do, something we don't do very often, right? It's easy to do, so you gotta try it out, and I'll show you how. So you take that front piece, so on the front we have our card base, and then we've got 3 layers that are also 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I already cut the rectangle out with the layering rectangle dies. So I did that off camera. For some reason this little part right here always wants to stick on me. So we'll save that for later. Trying to get on camera here, I kind of zoomed my camera in and it's giving me a smaller workspace. So I'm going to take this piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to take our framed piece. They're the same size. I'm going to lay them down, and then I'm going to stamp. So let me bring in my stamp. So like I said, I am using the Tasteful Touches stamps, but I'm also using, for this card, Very Versailles. So I'm using a couple of the stamps from this set. This is one of my favorites. I just think it's just so subtle and pretty, and it just really adds a lot to your card, and you can use it in so many ways. So actually, when I got this card done, I thought, well, it needed something, and that's what made me do the little stamp that I'm going to do right now. So let me bring in my Magenta Madness ink. So again, I'm going to lay this, I thought that was the same size, it's a little off, that's okay though. So I'm laying this down so I can kind of get an idea of where I want to stamp my sentiment. Make sure it's kind of centered in there. Just let me look again. Okay, so I'm going to ink this stamp up with the beautiful Magenta Madness. And there is a right and wrong way to this stamp. You want to make sure you have the writing going the right way. And then we're just going to center it and stamp it. Okay. So let me give a peek at this. So I did still do it a little bit off center. I'm just going to trim that. I know I'm probably going to have to trim a little bit of my window sheet when I'm all done, so I'm not going to worry about that. But now I can attach my window sheet. So to do that, I'm going to use some snail, and I'm going to put snail all along the back side of the window frame. And you could use tear and tape if you'd like. This kind of curls up. You can feel which is the side that you want to have out. It's kind of got a little bit more texture. Again, I'm doing this off center, but so we're just going to lay that down straight as you can. Make sure it's sticking. And I know I'm going to have to trim it a little bit, but that's not going to matter. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to snail the back of this, and then I'm going to add that white piece to it. Yep, I am using a lot of snail because the window sheet, you want to make sure it sticks. So again, I'm going to lay this down. And I got a little glare from that window sheet. So I am going to move it a little bit so I can see. All right. Okay, so it is a little off center, which is no big deal because you can trim that window sheet after. I'm not cutting the pink, I'm just cutting the window sheet anywhere it overlapped, and it's not too bad. And then a little bit of the white showing, so I can trim that a little bit. I think I better put my glasses on so I don't trim the pink. This is going to be on a white card base, so we're going to be fine. That's it. So that's our card front, and we're going to lay that on our card base like this, and it's got that pretty window in it. It's really pretty. I like that a lot. So let me go ahead and I can glue this down. You could snail it too, but I like to use glue. So I'm putting that on the front of my card, and it's going to fit exactly, so I can kind of go like that and make sure it's all lined up nicely. And it is. So now I'm going to bring in a scrap, and I'm going to stamp my flower. Here's what we're making. So I got a scrap here. I got to remember to put my stuff back in the same place so I can find it. I'm just going to stamp a flower, and then I'm going to fussy cut it. And while I'm at it, I'm going to bring in Just Jade, and I'm going to stamp over here. This is the leaf stamp that comes in the set, and I'm just going to stamp here and there, and then I'm going to punch out some sprigs. They can overlap. I just want to have a little bit of Just Jade in the leaves when I punch out sprigs. So that's that. Then I'm also going to do a little stamping while I have everything out. I've got this little banner that I cut ahead of time, and again, that's with the Tasteful Labels dies. So it's this piece right there that I cut out ahead of time. And I'm going to bring in my stamp, and the stamp is from the Very Versailles, how do you guys say that? And it says, "Have a beautiful day," and I'm going to stamp that right in the center here. Okay, boy, I have a glare going today. So now let's put a couple of these, let's put this together and I'll show you how easy it is. And first I have to cut up my flower. So what do you ladies think about the new in colors? I love them. At first when I saw them, I wasn't too sure. I was positive of the Magenta Madness. I knew I was going to love that. But as I've been using them, and I love them. I'm kind of addicted to them. So that's good. I thought this was a fun card to make, something different. We haven't done a window card. So yeah, Stampin' Up! Does have the window sheets, and I'll have that listed on my blog later, so you know how to find them. So this little piece here looks like a mess to you probably, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to cut out a couple of sprigs. I might have to stamp another one. Let's see. I want 3 of them. 2. Am I going to be able to get 3 out of this? I don't think so. Maybe. Nope. Not going to try it. So let me get another scrap here and stamp a couple more spriggies. That should do it. I want 3 sprigs. So see what that did? It looks like that. So I thought that was pretty. Just a little bit of green on there. I didn't want it solid, but you can do whatever you like. So let me put a couple of dimensions here. Pop up the flower. I'm going to put the flower right there. And then the sprigs, I just glued them on however they fit. So I know that the glue is going to be able to touch there on that pink. So I'm just going to put some dabs of glue. Slide that under. I like the sprigs because you can always play with them. If they don't fit right, you can cut them down. Like this one, I'm probably going to have to cut down. Let me see if I can put one here. Yep, okay. So again, I'm going to put some glue on a part that I know is going to touch that pink cardstock. It's going to kind of overlap, but that's okay. I like it. I like it. It's different, but I like it. Okay, this one I have to cut down a little because it's hitting the dimensional that's underneath there. So just kind of put your sprigs here and there. Okay, now we're going to take this and pop it up. And put it right here. And then up here, I'm going to bring in a couple of rhinestones. And I'm going to color them in. I love doing that. So let's see here. a rhinestone there. And before I put the next one down, I'm going to put my bow on and see where it lands, and then that'll help me decide where I want to put my rhinestones. So I just made this off camera. This is just a double bow with that polka dot tulle ribbon, which I absolutely love, love, love. I could probably add another love, 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 love. So I'm just putting this on with a glue dot up here in the corner. There we go. So now, let me see where I want my rhinestones. I'll put one up here. I think that's it. So now I'm going to bring in my Magenta Madness Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to color that in. Very subtle, but you can see, oh, it's beautiful. Gorgeous. So that's the front of our card. And then for the inside, I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping. Another stamp that's in the set says, you are so special. So let me bring in the magenta and we're going to stamp that. Oops, sticky fingers. Make sure I have this straight. But wait, there's more. I think what I'm going to do is stamp a leaf over that or near it. I haven't decided yet. Let me bring in, I'm going to stamp off twice. And then I'm just going to kind of overlap it right there. Oh, I like that. And I'm going to bring in my flower and I'm going to ink that up in the magenta, and I'm going to stamp off twice, and I'm just going to put a partial flower, pretty much all the flower right there. Oh, I like it. I do like that. Let me show you. Don't want to get off camera. So let's just put that on the inside of our card, but first I got to put away these stamp pads because that could be trouble. And then we'll put that on the inside. And this card will be done. There you go. A window card texture, very, very pretty. And those little sequins that are colored in, the little rhinestones colored in with the Stampin' Blends. Now this is sticking up, this little sprig. I will definitely put a little glue dot behind that. If I'm going to stick that in an envelope, I don't want it to get torn off, so I'll do that. But other than that, this card is done. And there's the inside. So I hope you like that. And then let's bring our next card. You are the best. I thought this was a good guide card. So let's bring in our pieces here. So what I did to switch it up was I'm going to use a black base. So that is the 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then for the inside, I have a matte piece in Just Jade. That's 5 inches by 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. I have a stamping piece that's 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I have a little strip of the Designer Series paper that's 1/4 inch by 5 inches. Then for the front, I have a matte piece that's in Just Jade, that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and as you can see, I used it to cut out one of the dies. That's not going to show when we're done. Then I have a stamping piece that's Whisper White, that's 5 inches by 3 3/4, and then I have some scraps that I cut out to make the little sign there, the little label, and that again is from the Tasteful Labels. Then I ran these through the embossing folder, and that embossing folder is called the Tasteful Textile Embossing Folder. And I have a couple of little Designer Series paper strips, and again, that's from the Tasteful Label dies. It's that one. It's that one right there. I cut 2 of those out, and I cut this one out ahead of time, and this is the one we're going to stamp on. And this is that Tasteful Textile Embossing Folder. I love this one. I love almost all the embossing folders, I have to admit. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, I knew there was something else before I continued. So the Designer Series paper I'm using on this card is the 2020-2022 in color 6x6 paper. I love this. I always try to buy the 6x6 in all the colors. It comes in all of them. It comes in the subtle, the regal, the neutrals, and the in colors. So that is what I'm using. And it's 40 sheets, and I think you get 6 of each one or so, and there's a couple of different designs. So that's a really, really good investment. So again, 6x6 paper. Love it. So let's do a little bit of stamping. And let's bring in that feather stamp and Just Jade. So before I do any more stamping, you might want to notice that my July host code, that's it right there. It's also on my blog. And there's my blog, stampandshout.com. And if you are interested in the make and takes for these projects tonight, I do offer them with a $30 purchase at my online store when you use the host code. And you can go to my blog to shop. I have all the information on my blog later. And I would appreciate it. And if you have any questions, as always, make sure you let me know. So I am just going to, I'm going to already turn that over. I didn't stamp that very well. I'm just going to stamp the background. So whatever you think looks good. And the parts, part of it's going to be covered up, so it's just pretty. And I think that's good. So I'm going to bring this in. And let's go ahead and do this. This is the other technique, not this, but the other technique is going to be on this card. I really want to show it to you. You're going to like it. I tried to find some techniques that I haven't done for a long time. And you kind of get in a routine and do the same thing over and over. So I got a couple of them today. So I'm going to set that matte piece down. I'm going to pick that up. There's nothing there. I'm going to put this piece down. Okay, so the way it's going to go is like this. So I'm putting together the pieces that I can put together right now. I'm going to pop this up. It's going to go centered right here. I'm going to bring it closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And then we're going to put some dimensions on the back of there, but before I do that, I want to lay these down. Because if I put these on after, my dimensions might block it. And It's not hard, you just have to trim this a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and put those on first. So those are just glued on or snailed, and they're right in the center of your card. So let's see how I do with this off center. Cheat a little bit here. See how I did. Very good. So this is going to go here. This is going to go here with our sentiment. And we also have some ribbon to put on there. So let me do some stamping. Do our sentiment here. And I stamped "You Are the Best," and I did that in Versamark. And I embossed it. So let's bring in a little scrap sheet. We want to catch our powder. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in Versamark, "You Are the Best." So I'm going to bring this off so I can see. I want to make sure I get it centered. So generally what I would do is I would stamp this first and emboss it, and then I would cut it out with the die. But because I wanted to get this cut off camera, just to save a little bit of time, I did it the other way. So I'm going to put some white embossing powder on here. Knock off the excess and pour this back in. Then I got a little bit of brush here, and I'm going to actually knock off a little bit of this excess. Not too bad, but I'm going to heat that. Then I'm going to show you the little trick. Whoop. So let me get my heat gun. It's going to get noisy for a second. So you always want to heat your heat gun up a little bit before you aim it here so it doesn't knock off any of that loose powder. So the other thing, when you're using your heat gun, you don't have to go like this. You just kind of keep it in position until you see the change, and then you slowly move it to the next section. And that's the best way to use your heat gun. So you're saying, but that's white. That's not what we wanted. So we're going to bring in, this is the technique, I just love it. Going to bring in our stamping blend. This is the dark Just Jade stamping blend. And I'm just going to go over what we just embossed. So this is how you can get any color that you want on a black cardstock. So simple. Isn't that cool? I love it. And that's it. So let me look at this. So now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to heat it one more time, and that's going to bring the shine back. So it's still there, I can still see it, but just going to heat it up a little bit. Yep, there it comes. And just like that, it brought that shine back up to the top. So you can see it's a little shiny. Okay, so now I'm going to pop this up. I'm in a popping up mood, so I'm going to pop this up. Then I'm going to bring in some ribbon before I lay this down. And I'm just deciding if I want to use the solid. No, I'm going to use this pretty gingham. Love this ribbon, gorgeous. So all I did was kind of hold it up here to see how much I needed to fit my card, and then trimmed it off. And use some glue dots. So I'm going to first adhere the bottom of that ribbon. I'm going to add another glue dot and adhere the ribbon to the ribbon. I'm kind of crossing it over, and then I'm going to lay this down. I think I want to move the whole thing down just a little bit. There we go. That's better. Yep, a little better. So normally, I gotta tell you guys something. So normally I have this window blocked off, but of course my cat Stella's there today, so I couldn't block her off. So I'm doing my video right now, and I hear some noise coming out of here, so coming out of her. So hopefully she doesn't give us a little cat show and throw up. Please don't throw up, Stella. The fun of a live video. Got this one stuck to it. I better add one more. I'm going to add two more. Okay, so we added our dimensions. There we go, there's the front of our card. We can trim this if we need to. I think it's fine. So now the inside, I'm going to bring in my matte piece, and I'm going to glue that down. Thanks for sharing my card, I appreciate it. My video, I appreciate it. So I was having, when I was doing my Facebook Live, I was saying, you know, put you in a drawing and I give you a little thank you gift for sharing my video, but there wasn't a lot of sharing going on. There was some sharing, which I greatly appreciate, but it was kind of awkward to do a drawing every week. So I'm just kind of randomly giving out little thank yous when people share or whatever. I just kind of doing my thing. Oh, before I glue this, I'm gonna stamp in Just Jade, and this says, "The good things in life are better with you." That's kind of how I feel when you guys are here. It's definitely better with you. It's really pretty font. Then I'm just going to add a little strip of designer series paper. Good way to use up little pieces. And just add it right here at the bottom. And then we'll adhere this whole thing right to our card. And then we'll see if we like the white base better or the black base. Okay, so here we go. I like the black so much better. It's so funny when I make a card, I'm like, I made this, and I was like, I like it, but what's the deal? And then I just thought, I need more black. I'll put this black on here, so yeah, I needed to bring out the black. Makes it kind of pop a little bit better. Plus, I think it's really good for a guide card. And there you go. And of course, stamp whatever you like inside, happy birthday or whatever, you know. We have so many sentiments. So let me see, where's my other window card. Let's see if I can fix this camera. Nope, it's giving me trouble. I was trying to get the camera farther away and it wouldn't do it. So there you go. A window card with the, I just love those, how you can color those in. And the little sprigs, we made the sprigs special by stamping them first. And then our guide card. So I hope you enjoyed today's projects, today's cards with a couple of different techniques. Like I said, I haven't done that in a long time. So I hope it reminded you that you can do that too. And like I said, all the stuff will be on my blog, all the information will be on my blog a little bit later. I'll have the sizes and I'll have the supplies that I used and I'll have my host code. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, say hi, and I think that's it. So don't be shy, stamp and shout.